couple of years ago, I was asked to do a Bible study group. I'm thinking Catholics don't do Bible studies, you know. And to do a Bible study group in Houston. I'm going, Catholics definitely don't do Bible studies in Texas. To do a Bible study group in Houston with a bunch of astronauts. Astronauts, oh, I could do that, yeah. So I wound up at a dinner evening of about 12 couples, all of them astronauts and spouses. One of the guys, half of them were Catholic as it turns out, so much for Catholics not doing Bible studies. One of the guys came up to me and said, you know, I just want to let you know, I believe in the absolute truth that creation was made in the 6 days just as described in the book of Genesis. And that's my religion. I just want to let you know that ahead of time. And I'm thinking, you know, have you actually read Genesis? Where it says the world is flat and it's covered with a dome and there's water above and below the dome, you know. Where does the shuttle go? How come you don't get wet?
Good morning, St. Elizabeth. This is Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, this is Nathaniel. I was told to call back within the next 30 minutes to speak with the priest.
Okay, just one moment, please. Let me see if he's available.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Nathaniel. This is Father Matthew.
Hey, Father.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, man. So I definitely don't want to take up too much of your time. I've been reading the Bible here. I've got the New American Revised Edition. Do you have a copy of the New American Bible by chance?
I do. Not in front of me at the moment, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay, good. Well, just opening up, the first page in Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it, man. It says, and God said, let there be a dome in the middle of the waters to separate one body of water from the other. Do you happen to know, or maybe you can shed some light on why that translation was used, either at the time of the translation or, maybe, what the writers were thinking?
So for the New American in particular, as opposed to which translation? King James or something else?
Well, any. It's just it's a striking term, I guess, if I'm thinking.
For dome?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, Genesis is a little bit mysterious in some ways. If you keep reading through Genesis, the way God is depicting the creation in the beginning of the earth, it doesn't actually ever rain until Noah's Ark. So it seems like he put some sort of, I guess, dome, if you want to say, or something by his tower, his grace, to prevent water from falling from the sky, to mark a separation. But I couldn't tell you why they use that word. That I don't know.
Okay. This is interesting. Like I said, I thought the priest would be most qualified to help me out, especially with this translation.
Sure.
New American. So you don't know why dome was used?
No, and at the moment I don't remember what word was there for the Hebrew. But I think it probably is there mainly to emphasize the distinction and the separation. But I don't know why they use that word. No, sorry.
Yeah. When I think of a dome, man, I think of I don't know, like the NFL or something. Anyway.
Yeah. And the way that it's depicted in Genesis 2, people thought it was a flat, right? And that the dome would have been like that, like a dome across a flat space, as opposed to being a globe.
I'm sorry, could you say that last part again?
Yeah, sure. The way people thought about Genesis 4 before they understood the world was round, was they thought of it as flat, right? And so I think dome probably made more sense for the author, the human author, because it would have been like a football dome. It would have been across a flat space.
Interesting. So you're saying that Moses, in particular, since he's the guy that wrote Moses, he thought that the world was flat.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, because it doesn't actually say that it's round, technically speaking, so he could have misunderstood that. I don't know what he thought personally, but the world seemed to think that for a while.
The world in general, you mean like the ancients and stuff?
Yeah.
I see where you're going here. I see what you're saying, because now that you mention it, Moses was adopted by the Egyptians, and their depiction of the world definitely looked like there was some kind of woman, like bent over the earth. So
Yeah.
and, funny enough, he was adopted by by the Pharaoh's daughter.
Yep.
So, with that being said, man, let's 2 more minutes.
Sure.
Let's fast forward, right? Maybe a couple thousand years. Within the topic of the Catholic Church, you are a priest yourself. I don't know how long you've been practicing or anything like that.
7 years.
Good. It's a good number, man. Do you know anything about Nicholas Copernicus, his involvement with the church?
A little bit. I know I studied it more in detail in seminary. I'm a little rusty on my details, but in general, yeah, I know about him.
Okay. And what exactly was his involvement, if you don't mind sharing what you know, his involvement with the church and his influences with his, I guess, publications?
Sure. I don't remember what his position was or what his profession was. I don't think he was a priest, but he might have been. The church always was a body of intellectual thought, and so, as opposed to what people think nowadays, we really are opposed to science. So he was a scientist as well, and he was exploring through astronomy the universe and trying to understand the universe, basically. And so he began to think that the world was round. Excuse me, forgive me. He began to think that the world rotated around the sun, rather than vice versa. And he had some calculations he got from his astronomical observations that lent in that direction, but he wasn't completely sure. So I think, as I recall, the church said, since you can't completely prove it, let's stick with what we've always gone with until it can be proven, if it can be proven. That's like a Cliff Notes version of what I remember. There's way more to it, I'm sure. But that was the general story.
And I guess to pivot back to what you said about what they've always gone with, that was the idea of geocentrism, correct?
Right, yes.
And they were basing that, correct me if I'm wrong, the church was basing that depiction of the cosmos on the Bible and their interpretation on the Bible. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting. Well, man, like I said, I definitely didn't want to take up too much of your time. You've been tremendous help this morning. So.
Sure, I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I hope you have a great day, and maybe we can chat again someday, right?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye.